Hello, my name is Chloe Arthid. I am currently a senior at the University of Idaho, and I will be presenting on the domestication of the camel. Today I will be talking about topics like the early camel, where camels came from, the two different types, camel breeding, evolution, the details of their domestication, cult followings, and domestication today. The first Camelida species, or the Pobrotherium, is the first early camel. It lived in North Dakota for over 30 million years in the Eocene period. It was relatively goat-sized and about 3 feet long. It was a very good runner. Then, that species that originated in North America split into two sections. The first went south to South America to evolve into llamas, alpaca, and guanacos. The other half traveled north to the Bering Land Bridge to become Bactrian camels. Then the Bactrian migrated from Asia to Arabia to become desert-dwelling dromedary camels. Dromedary camels migrated from Arabia during trade times to East Africa, then to North Egypt and the Sahara Desert. There are two main types of camel. The first is the Bactrian or Serbian camel. It is the oldest species of camel and the first to be domesticated. It was domesticated around 4000 to 3000 BC in eastern Iran. There is no unambiguous evidence as to when domestication officially occurred. There have been bones and paintings found around 3000 BC representing the camel as a transportation animal. The Bactrian is more well suited for Northwest Asian and Mongolian areas with colder droughts and mountains rather than high, hot deserts. They have shorter legs and a stockier build than their relative, the dromedary. The dromedary or Arabian camel was first discovered and tracked back to around 8000 BC using bones found in deserts. However, it wasn't until 3000 to 2500 BC on the Arabian Peninsula that they were officially domesticated. After domestication, they were used as transportation for trading, where they spread from Arabia to the east handle of Africa, then north up the Nile Valley. The nomadic tribes in Egypt and on the edges of the Sahara domesticated the dromedary on the edges of the desert and then eventually spread across the desert. By 1300 BC, camels were successfully domesticated. Today, 90% of the camels in the modern world are dromedaries. The two species of camel were domesticated in different areas at different times, but they are still able to crossbreed and produce fertile offspring. This becomes relevant when attempting to breed camels. One thing that sets camel apart from other mammals is that they have not had the need to breed for domestication or for better traits. Camels have already adapted perfectly for their climate and for their mild stature. About 12,000 years ago, there was no need for human intervention in the camel's genes for domestication. Female camels are usually used as passenger carriers, whereas male camels are traditionally used for cargo transport. The primary factor that made camels such a valuable domestication animal for humans was their specialized evolutions. Camels are built to survive in the hot, arid deserts. They have two flat, leathery toes, perfectly made for walking on hot sand over long distances. They can carry large loads for 25 miles per day. They have long eyelashes and eyebrows to protect from blowing winds, thick hair for thermoregulation in unpredictable conditions, the temperatures in their climate areas can reach temperatures low as -20 degrees Fahrenheit. They also have large nostrils that can open and close in order to keep out sand. They have specialized kidneys that allow camels to go for long periods of time with no water, along with a strong internal thermostat for thermoregulation. They can also sustain extreme fluctuations in blood plasma levels, such extreme shifts that they would kill a human if they experienced a similar change. Camels also require a large grazing area because of the sparse grazing and drinking opportunities. They can go without food for a long time because of the adaptation of their hump. Contrary to common opinion, camels do not carry water in their humps, but instead carry fat to be later burned and used for energy when no food is available. Domestication happened mostly through trade, but camels did not begin as pack animals. They were first food. They lived better in adverse conditions than cattle and sheep could. They were also useful in villages for their wool that was used for clothing and blankets, and also for their dung. It burned cleaner and hotter in tents than wood did. It wasn't until later that they were used to transport heavy loads. This enabled them to quickly replace the donkey as a superior pack animal. The camel enabled people to increase their geographical range and efficiency in which they traveled. Camels had a huge influence on herders. The herders and nomads had to travel with the camels in their distant grazing opportunities, causing a socioeconomic shift from one-place herders to nomadic farmers where they traveled across long distances. Aside from being eaten, camels were also killed to be used as religious sacrifices. There were lots of cult followings. These followings resembled those of religious followings of Ra, the sun god, but instead they worshipped camels. In 2494 to 2181 BC, there were mass exports of frankincense and myrrh to Arabia for camel worships and sacrifices. They were having large outbursts in religious followings and didn't have the material to carry out such sacrifices. Domestication of the camel did not change the species biologically or in their nature. The only noted difference between wild camels and domesticated camels is that wild camels are more shy. Recently, they have become more valuable in acts of war, making them even more valuable to the nomads. The only truly wild camels left are the Bactrian camels, and until 1920 they lived in the Gobi Desert. Then, after 1920, they split. Half traveled to the southwest mountains of Mongolia, and then the other to northwest cold regions of China. The dromedary still dominate African deserts and Egypt as domesticated camels. Today, camels are still used as rural pack animals and tourist attractions, although they are now frequently seen in petting zoos and cigarette packages. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I appreciate your time and have a good day.